The last presidential debate for this year's election was the straw that broke the camel's back for Joe Biden. The disastrous night in June led to President Biden eventually stepping aside from his re-election campaign, letting his VP, Kamala Harris, officially take the reins. So how is the president feeling ahead of tonight for the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris?
Has the president spoken to the vice president about the upcoming debate? And also, is he planning to watch it tomorrow night?
So I can say, and I think I confirmed this last week in either a gaggle or at the briefing, which is that the president is going to watch the debate. He's looking forward to watching the debate. I'm not going to preview or confirm any conversations between the president and the vice president. As you know, they speak often. The president is incredibly proud of the vice president. I just don't have anything to share beyond that, but he will be watching. We'll be watching in New York.
Welcome to Mad World, our weekly Culture Wars wrap-up. Let's get into it. Just days before Donald Trump was set to take the stage for the presidential debate with Kamala Harris, this video of the former president went viral, showing him meeting a young fan.
Thank you. Is this your family?
This is.
Nice looking family, huh?
Say hi.
Beautiful.
Can they stand next to you real fast?
Come on, let's go. Get out.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling. You take care.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, this probably wasn't the right thing to publicly admit in the middle of a political campaign, but Bernie Sanders was questioned over whether Kamala Harris was abandoning her left-leaning ideologies.
Described Vice President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for all. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
It seems Donald Trump has the inside scoop into the Harris campaign. The former president told his crowd of supporters that VP Harris is currently practicing for the debate but can't concentrate because of the MAGA voters outside.
She's right now practicing. Do you know that? She's in Pennsylvania, and she's practicing for the debate. She's locked herself in a room. She's got a lot to learn. She's locked herself in a room, and they have one problem. You know what the problem is? They have MAGA outside screaming, "We love Trump, we love Trump, we love Trump," and they can't focus. Can you believe it? Just came over. They got MAGA people all over the place, and they're screaming, "We love Trump," and she can't focus. That's okay.
And Joe Biden is back campaigning for his replacement, Kamala Harris.
I know the other team doesn't think there's any such thing as global warming. Well, I like to put the other nominee for president, the former president, like to put him in the middle of Arizona for a while. That bill I got passed and said that Biden couldn't do it, guess what? $1.3 billion over 10 years. And we reduced the budget at the same time.
Ahead of the presidential debate, where immigration will be high on the list of topics to be spoken about, CNN released a detailed report about Kamala Harris's policies. It exposed a far-left approach to immigration from Kamala Harris's 2019 campaign positions.
And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what K-File found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border.
It went on to detail policies like pledging to end immigration detention, taxpayer-funded gender care and transition surgeries for detained migrants, slash immigration detention by 50%, including closing all family private facilities, decrease funding for ICE, and ending ICE detainers. CNN has surprisingly just handed Donald Trump political ammunition for the debate, where Kamala Harris will likely already have to explain how under the Biden administration, the number of illegal migrants crossing into the US has ballooned in numbers. The House Foreign Affairs Committee has released their Afghanistan report on Monday, detailing the findings from the 3-year investigation into the Biden administration's withdrawal of US troops out of Afghanistan in August 2021. GOP Congress members were incredibly critical of Joe Biden, blaming his administration for the deaths of 170 Afghans and 13 US soldiers.
45 Americans and Afghan civilians wounded. And the sad thing is, it could have been prevented if we just had a plan. It could have been stopped. Nothing will take back their children's lives. Yes, they will be receiving a gold medal, congressional gold medal tomorrow, well deserved, on behalf of their children and loved ones, posthumously. But nothing can bring them back.
Democrats, however, have called out the Republican Party, claiming the report is biased.
Was anyone ever held accountable by the president directly for what happened with the withdrawal in Afghanistan? And if not, remind the audience why not.
We have all held ourselves accountable for the progress of the withdrawal across the administration, and it was a true interagency effort to get those 120,000 people out and to make sure we removed our diplomats and our military personnel safely. As I said, Ed, not everything went according to plan. Nothing ever does. But it doesn't mean that the decision to end this one was wrong, or that the withdrawal wasn't conducted as professionally and as bravely as was humanly possible given the circumstances.
It looks like J.D. Vance doesn't have the support from someone big in his life. Famous director Ron Howard, the director of Hillbilly Elegy, the 2020 Netflix film that was based on J.D.'s book and his life, isn't backing the wannabe Republican VP. While promoting his newest movie, Ron Howard was asked about the Ohio senator. He said, "Well, we didn't talk a lot of politics when we were making the movie because I was interested in his upbringing and that survival tale. That's what we mostly focused on. However, based on the conversations that we had during that time, I just have to say I'm very surprised and disappointed by much of the rhetoric that I'm reading and hearing. People do change, and I assume that's the case. Well, it's on record. When we spoke around the time that I knew him, he was not involved in politics or claimed to be particularly interested. So that was then. I think the important thing is to recognise what's going on today and to vote." In a separate interview, he told Variety, he said, "There's no version of me voting for Donald Trump to be president again, whoever the vice president was." And it's another week and another campaign video for Donald Trump's team.
We should be doing everything we can to make it more affordable to buy a home.
A just-released housing index reveals just how rough the market is, especially for first-time home buyers. It showed home prices for the nation's top 20 metro areas rose 5.4% from June of last year to June of this year, a record jump for that month.
The average home buyer needs to make over $110,000 to afford the average home. Home buyers only needed to make $76,000 back in 2020.
Mortgage rates are now at their highest level in 21 years.
Last week, the internet went wild when family members of Democratic VP hopeful Tim Waltz came out declaring that they were Trump supporters. Mr. Waltz had to avoid reporters asking about this week.
Governor, any reaction to your family saying they're going to support?
Press, we're going to stay here. Press, hold.